So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to be perfectly honest. This is one of the most disappointing trailers I've seen in quite some time. And I think the reason why I was so heartbroken at this trailer is because the opening moments are so epic because it's the original Lord of the Rings. And I'm thinking, okay, what are they going to do here? What are they going to do? What could they possibly do? Oh, is this like, is this like the Rings of Power? But you go back to Middle Earth, and I'm seeing these scenes. I'm like, okay, what is it? Oh, animation, anime. Oh, awesome! I'm thinking this is gonna be great. Look at this. I mean, this looks really good. I mean, I'm not gonna blow my load over this, but it looks pretty good. I would watch this if it were a show. But like always, there's something to ruin it. And in this case, it's this person right here. Now, what I'm going to say is going to irritate some people, but I don't care. I'm done with the girl bossification of characters in entertainment. It was never a thing. It never worked. It lost you billions of dollars. It has alienated franchises from the consumers more often than not. It's never going to work. And here's the thing. Here, let me add a caveat to this. I've watched plenty of anime shows that were recommended to me by friends that had overpowered female characters that I thought were awesome. But here's the difference. They weren't the main character, so the focus wasn't on them. It was on somebody else, and the female character was just absolutely kick-ass and hardcore, and I love it. So, this isn't a thing of you have to portray women in a certain meek, submissive role. But also, can we not have the female characters engaging in, sword combat with a man who's way bigger than her? I mean, this whole thing is girl bossification. That's all this is. Literally all this is from this point on. Oh, she's going to ride with a horse and she's going to fight. Here's the thing. In the original Lord of the Rings, you did have a, rather impressive moment where there was a girl who pretended to be a guy and decided that she was going to fight. But here's the thing. She had trained for that for a long time, but more than just training for it, she still lost in the end. This wasn't like some kind of message that, she's the strongest. No, she's stronger than all the kings. In fact, she's going to take on Sauron himself. If you look at the way that they portray female characters, they don't understand that one of the fundamental flaws is that women are not stronger than men. They never will be, and they never can be in general. Now, in anime and fiction, sure, okay, but you have to have it make sense. Like, for example, if you had an elf beat a human male, you could make that make sense. Elves are mystical. They have, otherworldly powers. They have enhanced strength. Even though they look small, their body and nature is of the spirit and of the woods. And you could come up with any excuse why that would make sense. But in this, it's two human beings that are engaged in conflict. And this girl here is apparently stronger than everyone. And that is where I have a problem. And I don't care if that disgruntles some of you. It is what it is. I've had enough of the girl bosses. I've had enough of the empty platitudinal, women can do anything that a man can do, feminist rah-rah sisterhood bullshit. It is complete and total fiction, and that's saying something because this is a work of fiction. But Tolkien was way better than the people that are working on this, and that is something that needs to be said. This idea of girl bossification, of, women can do it too. There's a reason why, I'll give you an example. All right, it's not a perfect example, but One Piece. Roronoa Zoro is beat by his childhood friend who's a girl. She beats him every time. She's better than him. But the whole subtext of that is they're constantly saying that as Zoro gets older and he gets stronger, he's going to surpass her. And the whole thing is, let's try to keep breaking that limit and keep getting better. And it makes sense. It's interesting. It has a role to play in the character development of both of the characters, and it plays a role in the story. But this stuff does not. It is empty, platitudinal virtue signaling that can ruin something good. I pledge to fight for my king. You know nothing of war. Oh, but I'm going to show him. I'm going to show them all. I know everything about war. I'm the fastest rider you have. Okay. The fastest rider. You can get there to the front line first and then get absolutely decimated by the average grunt on the other team. We need to start having an honest conversation about this because this is absolutely ridiculous. This ruined the entire mood. And they work so hard to get us in the mood with all of these clips from the good stuff. I'm like, why? You get me excited for Lord of the Rings. I'm like, you're showing me the good stuff. And then, there's animation and it looks good. And then you get to the girl bossification. You know nothing of war. I'm the fastest rider you have. Girl boss moment. It's like, gag me. Fucking gag me. And this whole thing, people need hope, and that hope is you, and you're a girl boss. Believe in something. Oh, I'm going to touch the bird. Oh, I can beat this elephant thing. It's like all of this follows a formula. A formula that is not only is it tired and play it out, it never was. Look, so the conclusion is that they fight, and that she's a fighter, and she's a sword or land. I mean, it just look at this. It's just right here. Yeah, she's fighting with him on horseback, 1-on-1, and he said, "I'm not afraid of you." It says, see if the caption. Let's see if the caption says it. You think I am afraid of you? And they fight. And she says, you should be. Bitch! Yeah, this massive dude, this guy is pretty big, is scared of you, who's, you're shorter than him, you're smaller than him. There's been nothing to show that she has some kind of like magical amulet or something that can increase the power. It's feminist, girl boss, delusional bullshit, and I've had enough of it. It is ridiculous. It will kill a franchise or an idea faster than you can possibly imagine. You started off so strong, and this is the tease. This is the build-up. This is to get you excited. This is like, remember Lord of the Rings? Well, now it's an anime. Oh, and by the way, we're going to add in girl boss bullshit that you despise with every fiber of your being. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to add in lines in the trailer like, you think I'm afraid of you? You should be. Man. I hate this so much I can't even begin. I can't even begin to articulate it properly. It is so repugnant to me. Do you understand? This isn't even about female characters being strong. It's the disgusting way. Excuse me. I'm taking a drink. It is the disgusting way in which it is portrayed ham-fistedly every time. Every time. It's in the most grotesque, over-the-top, poorly thought-out, woke, freak on the internet type of way. We're gonna pander to all of the journalists in the media. Gag me. You people make me sick. You're a fucking joke. You're an embarrassment. Tolkien would never produce shit like this. Never. I mean, it just baffles me because I've seen what happens when talented people from Japan manage to get hold of this. And by the way, it's not lost on me that they're trying to make it look like anime, because anime is so popular that it's obliterated any of the comics or cartoons that we in the West have had. And yet, it's not good enough. We still have to taint it with this Western pollution, this degrading, degenerate filth that they just slam in there. Come on. It's obnoxious. And I'll reiterate it for the third time because I know a lot of people on the left are stupid to the point of miracle. The reality is that there are anime and manga with badass, strong female characters. I'll give you another example. Yoruichi from Bleach. It's a tongue twister a little bit. Everyone loves Yoruichi from Bleach. Yoruichi. Whatever. They love the black cat lady from Bleach. Love her character. She's super strong. Not the main character. Not really even a girl boss. She's just cool. She's just a super attractive, highly functional, highly capable combatant. There's a lot of female characters like that in anime that people love. So this is not a war on women. This is simply a war on the Western portrayal of women, that they are in combat situations and equal to men when everything else is the same. Unless she has some kind of mythical object that's given to her by Sauron. If she has a ring of power and it gives her the strength of 10 men, which, wouldn't put it past her, but she's blocking an attack from this guy. Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. And it's not blasting her into the wall? No, of course not. I'm sick and tired of this stuff. I'm sick and tired of the amateur way that they present this, the shockingly inept dialogue, the terrible way that they constantly have to lure you in and then drop the bad news. It's like, do you want the good news first or the bad news first? Well, what's the good news? Lord of the Rings. Oh, we love Lord of the Rings. What's the bad news? It's a feminist girl boss that was written, obviously, by a bunch of hack, fat, probably morbidly obese, lesbianic hacks. Or a bunch of twink, simp, beta male losers that couldn't say no to the women in the room. Either way, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You're going to tell me that you have the ability to make an animated Lord of the Rings, and you thought that the way to entice people in was to make a female main character that is snarky, feminist, and sassy in the trailer, and she's the strongest. I mean, fucking really? It is so inconceivable to me that there's nobody saying, you're fired. We need Donald Trump back. You're fired. You're fired. Get out. It's the worst idea. I've never heard a worse idea than this. It's the worst idea. How could anyone have an idea this bad? His mother's embarrassed because the idea is so bad. Oh, you're going to tell me this girl comes in. She's a girl boss. Get over it. This isn't 2015 anymore. We got to have a man. He's going to be a strong man. The strongest man. A man who's toned and has testosterone. We're going to have the strongest man. We're going to look at them. People are going to look at him and say, wow, that guy is really tough. We need somebody like that. We need a masculine man as the main character, because this stuff is just revolting. And I know that there are simps and suckers that defend this shit over and over and over again. But it's just, it's so nauseating. It really is. And I cannot emphasize my frustration enough. I cannot emphasize my frustration enough. You're having I mean, just look at this. On horseback, I mean, holy shit, I think I didn't miss that the first time, but it was over so quick. So they're fighting back and forth. On horseback, so on horseback, they just clashed swords, and it was, oh, they're equal. But, yeah, of course, yeah, they're equal. Men and women are equal. What are you, some kind of sexist? No. If this were real, he would have hit her one time, she would have gone flying backwards. Do you understand the momentum of a horse combined with the power of a man? She would have been absolutely destroyed. She probably would have hit her head on the concrete and died. But I have to take this approach because these animals who work in Hollywood will never get it. They do not understand. Even after losing billions of dollars, losing their reputation, their influence, basically breaking down the entertainment industry as it existed for decades and decades and decades, they still can't figure this out. They're being gifted a massive boon from the Japanese. Anime. People like anime. You know all you really had to do here? All you really had to do was make an animated Lord of the Rings. That's really all you had to do. Make an anime Lord of the Rings. An anime Lord of the Rings. And people would have flocked to go see it. But instead, of course, this guy comes and asks for her hand in marriage. She denies it, of course, because she's a female girl boss and she doesn't need no man. So she tells him, "Our father speaks as if I were not even in the room. I do not want to marry you." It's this feminist trope that I think ultimately gets me. Again, for the fourth time, it's not about strong female characters. It's the culture and attitude behind it that I detest with every fiber of my being. It is as disgusting to me as opening up a bucket and finding it filled with sewage. There is nothing redeemable about the feminist mindset. This guy comes and offers his hand in marriage, and she goes, "No, I don't. They didn't treat me as an equal, and I get the ultimate say. I'm not going to marry you." That's not how it works. Arranged marriages, that's not how it works. And this is a fantasy setting, and yet I'm subjected to this type of modern Western bullshit. Lord of the Rings is fantasy that's believable. That's the difference here. It may be fantasy, but it's believable. And that's the best fantasy. When the rules of magic make sense. When the rules of the world make sense. And I know that a lot of low IQ, mouth-breathing simps and suckers, a bunch of left-wing, low IQ, degenerate scumbags, can't figure this out. They go, "Well, it's fantasy." Yeah, but fantasy is actually not meant to suspend your disbelief entirely. Only a little bit. It's only meant to introduce you to ideas that may be slightly outside the realm of your everyday. For example, dragons. Well, we know lizards. We know that there are Komodo dragons. We know that there are big lizards. A big lizard that can fly, that can breathe fire, is mythical. It's fantastical. It's not real, but you could imagine it. And you can imagine how terrifying it would be. Basically, a giant snake with wings and arms and legs. It's terrifying. It really is. They did a very good job of bringing that to life. Warriors that have magic that can boost them. As unrealistic as that is in our world, it makes sense. That there's magic that can increase your strength. Magic that can do certain things if that's the type of fantasy that you're watching. But it all makes logistic sense from their world and ultimately our world. When things don't make sense, the things usually turn to shit. The people, the characters, the world building, all of that is so crucially important. And what this feminist girl bossification bullshit is not, it is absolutely not normal. It is not recognized by most people across the world. It is simply a Western creation that is a pure fiction meant to appease a bunch of morally desperate, retarded, low IQ, valueless people that want to create value out of nothing. And so they pretend that this is the path forward. And it's just so sickening and sad and ridiculous. And there's no merit to this at all. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.